Hello, everybody. I address you tonight heartbroken for George Floyd and his family, and I mourn the needless loss of his life and the loss of so many other Black lives who have suffered from similar acts of violence. We stand in solidarity with all of the youth and families of color that we serve, with all of our staff of color, and all of our communities of color. We recognize that being Black or a person of color in America right now is to live in a state of trauma, fearing for the lives of yourself and your loved ones. I am proud of the work we do every day to help the youth and young adults we serve to confront all kinds of barriers. We are deeply committed to recognizing systemic racism for what it is and being part of the solution. We must take a stand for the communities of color that have been living with this for far too long and make an unwavering commitment to listen and to be a stronger ally. I stand by the people who are impacted. Thank you.
Youth Village's Spring Celebration. Welcome to the show. Youth Village's priority in this pandemic is to ensure the health of those we serve, while protecting the essential services for those who are disproportionately impacted. In a crisis, we come to action, meeting families through telehealth, modifying safety plans and crisis response to reduce hospital visits, raising funds and providing grocery gift cards to young adults and families who are struggling, providing technology to young adults and families for telehealth sessions and to help them meet educational requirements. Who we are. Youth Villages believes in the kids that are the hardest to believe in. Youth Villages CEO, Patrick W. Lawler. We treat children and families simultaneously. We have measurable, positive, long-term outcomes. We provide intensive community-based services. Who we are. We meet families where they are at, literally and psychologically. We are available 24/7 for on-call support. We track and analyze our outcomes to provide the highest level of service to young people and families. We deliver unprecedented accountability to our young adults, families, and funders. Recognized by Harvard Business School, U.S. News and World Report, and the White House as an organization with promising ideas that are transforming communities. Introducing the Executive Director of Youth Villages, Massachusetts and New Hampshire, Matt Stone.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight for our first ever virtual spring celebration. I'm Matt Stone. I'm the Executive Director for Youth Villages in Massachusetts and New Hampshire. I'm so excited to welcome you, and I also hope your family has been able to join us. As you may know, Youth Villages has continued to provide essential services throughout the COVID-19 pandemic. Our staff have been doing everything possible to ensure the safety of the youth and the families we serve while continuing to provide critical services during this crisis. And we are doing everything we can to support our staff. They're our soldiers on the front lines. It's truly been amazing to see how our community, our staff, our volunteers, donors, and all the state agencies have come together during this time to support youth and young adults when they need us the most. I want to take a moment to thank our presenting sponsors, Anita and Josh Beckenstein, the Klarman Family Foundation, and the 1-8 Foundation. Thank you so much for your support. Also, thank yous to our diamond sponsors, Sandy and Paul Edgerly, for supporting us not only this event, but all year round. Thank you to all of this evening's sponsors. We couldn't do this work without you, and we're so grateful for your commitment to our organization and to our mission. I'm so pleased to honor Paul Grogan tonight for Paul's tireless commitment not only to Youth Villages, but to the greater Boston community. Paul, you have been instrumental in supporting our mission at Youth Villages. I'm thrilled to honor you tonight. Thank you. The young adults in our LifeSet program were struggling before the onset of the coronavirus. and now they need us more than ever. They're facing job loss, limited access to transportation, struggling to meet basic needs. They need food, shelter, guidance, and stability. Well, tonight we have the chance to provide all of that for them. We can teach young adults the life skills they need to live successfully, help them find housing, education, learn how to budget, and find employment. We know that 2 years after leaving youth villages, 86% of the young adults we've served are living successfully in a home. They have a degree or their diploma, and they're working. Since this pandemic hit, the number of youth and families that need our help has grown and grown. And we see going forward even more young adults needing access to services like ours. Your support will help us continue to grow and make sure that everyone who needs our services, intensive in-home and community-based support, can have access to it. All of the funds that we raise tonight will help us provide more young adults with access to the life-changing services our LifeSet program provides. So please make a gift. Visit youthvillages.org/spring celebration. I want to thank you deeply for joining us tonight. I hope you enjoy what we've put together. I'm so appreciative of your support. And remember, together, we are a force for families.
Good evening, everybody. Mass Governor Charlie Baker here. Let me just start by saying, first of all, that this time of year is usually when my wife Lauren and I spend a lot of time going from gala to fundraiser to gala to event throughout the Commonwealth to celebrate the great organizations that we have here in Massachusetts doing work every day on behalf of kids and families and communities. But this year, obviously, everything is different, and after 4 years in a row of perfect attendance for both my wife and me at the annual Youth Villages Gala, this year, we're going to play this virtually. But I just want to say that the fact that I'm coming across on a video doesn't change the fact that your organization and the people who work for your organization have made a huge difference here in the Commonwealth over the past 14 or 15 years that you've been part of our fabric. I know Youth Villages has been around a lot longer than that, dating back to the mid-1990s, but the approach that Youth Villages takes to serving kids of all ages, and especially the work you do to try and come up with plans, runways, and strategies and soft landings, whatever term you like to use best, for those kids who age out of the child welfare system, has been an especially important part of what we've seen you bring to the table on behalf of the kids here in the Commonwealth. There are many organizations that we work with, and there are many organizations that work across state government with a variety of entities and agencies. And Youth Villages happens to be one of those organizations that's nimble enough, creative enough, imaginative enough, and collaborative enough to work with many agencies and state government here in Massachusetts. And we have been blessed by your presence, and we continue to believe in and support the work that you do on behalf of some of our most at-risk kids and their families every day. Thank you for what you do. I'm sorry I can't say that to you in person, but if all goes according to plan, next year, you'll see my wife and me back at your gala celebrating the great work that Youth Villages does again. God bless.
Hi everyone, I'm Congressman Joe Kennedy. COVID-19 has wrought havoc on our communities, and we are still struggling to respond. As we navigate these trying times, one thing that has concerned me most is the safety of our youth that don't have school or community supports where they can get the help they need when they need it. The children who will be left behind as our attention turns elsewhere. As our worlds get smaller and our horizons closer, it's those on the margins who are lost. Thankfully, we have Youth Villages and your incredible team. To everyone gathered here today, perhaps at a distance, let me just say thank you for your service as essential staff in this time of great uncertainty. Knowing that you are continuing to help youth and families thrive gives us all the hope that together we will emerge stronger from this unprecedented challenge. And Paul, we honor you tonight for your service, for Youth Villages, and to the greater Boston community through your work through Boston Foundation. Our city, our Commonwealth, have been lucky to have you pushing us forward year after year. Thank you all you have done for us, my friend. Tonight, we salute you and Youth Villages for being a force for families.
This is Linda Spears at the Massachusetts Department of Children and Families. We are so proud to be a partner with you and the team at Youth Villages as we together provide essential services for children, families, and for young adults, especially during this pandemic when the needs are so great for so many folks. Thank you to your staff, both the Frontline team and the behind-the-scenes folks who help make it happen every single day. We could not get through this without all of you. I want to send a special congratulations to Paul Grogan and to thank you for all you've done, Paul, for Youth Villages and through the Boston Foundation to support our community during this very difficult time, and for all the years leading up to this, where the foundation and you have been a force for both children and for families. Again, thank you all, and have a great, great day. Bye-bye.
The LifeSet program helps young adults prosper. LifeSet helps former foster youth successfully transition into independent adulthood, reducing homelessness and unemployment, and helping youth continue their education. The reality of aging out of foster care without support. 25% of former foster youth become homeless within 4 years. 66% will not complete high school or earn a GED by age 19. Nationwide, only 3% of former foster youth will complete a 4-year degree. LifeSet helps young adults build and maintain healthy relationships, find and maintain employment, complete GED, high school, or college, find suitable and stable housing. Outcome data shows that LifeSet works even 2 years after completing the program. 91% are living at home or independently. 87% in school, graduated, or employed. 87% reported no trouble with the law. Alyssa's story, how LifeSet helped her find stability and purpose.
From the start, my life has always been a little chaotic, subpar, unfair. My mom had her problems with health issues, mental health, and drug use. My dad, a recovering alcoholic, was often manipulated by my mother and alienated from his role as a father. Neglect was a big part of my childhood. I took to self-harm in middle school, and it was my hidden sense of control. I think a little bit of depression was there, and I was questioning my worth and even attempted to take my life. But a friend intervened, and I reached out for help soon after.
Alyssa was in multiple out-of-home placements throughout her teenage years. During this time, she was involved with many different social workers, counselors, and medical providers. When she turned 18, she was introduced to LifeSet. I struggled being displaced from my normal, my friends, family, school, and being expected to give up my sense of control during all this chaos. Alyssa.
When LifeSet worker was mentioned to me, I wasn't sure about how another person would support me. It seemed daunting to have to talk to one more person about the same things I already talked to everyone else about. I was surprised with how helpful LifeSet and my specialist Reed was. I was learning life skills and actually practicing during our meetings, instead of learning on paper. I could ask questions that were personalized to me and my situation instead of generalized. I started with goals I had for a long time but never completed. Getting my permit, learning nutrition, exploring gyms, and money management. I now have my permit, have explored different healthy recipes, and even saw a nutritionist. I belong to our local gym and am maintaining a budget. With COVID-19 putting a halt to all things planned, I am still able to meet with Reed to help with random short-term goals, like applying for unemployment. A new goal I have set while in LifeSet is going back to school. Reed has helped me get all my documentation in, and I'm ready to start mass art in the fall. This is a huge goal for me, and I'm so excited to start college. I don't think this would have been possible without the support of LifeSet. To help young adults like me get access to the LifeSet program, please visit youthvillages.org/spring celebration to make a donation.
The Intercept program keeps families together. The youth in Intercept are referred to us with challenges that have caused them to be removed from their homes, or they are at risk of being removed. 91% of youth in the Intercept program experience multiple concerns, including physical aggression, mental health challenges, risk of runaway, truancy, history of trauma, and substance abuse. Intercept helps families establish a strong support system, learn effective coping skills to de-escalate conflict, create effective supervision plans, develop strong parenting skills, increase community relationships. Outcome data shows that Intercept works even 2 years after completing the program. 81% are living with family or independently. 89% are in school, graduated, or employed. 89% report no further trouble with the law. Deshawn's story: how Intercept changed a young man's life. Deshawn is a 16-year-old in the Youth Villages Intercept program. For Deshawn, things at home were difficult, and he spent about 1 year at a residential facility. In January, as Deshawn was getting ready to go back home, he and his family were introduced to Youth Villages and his Intercept specialist, Nick. Nick worked with Deshawn on safety at school, safety in the community, and good decision-making.
When I met Nick, I wasn't exactly sure, what the whole program was and like how, it could be helpful. And I remember the first day I asked him, I said, like, can you help? Can you actually help with the things that are going on and stuff like that? And then he told me that he would try. And I just met him for a brief few minutes because he had came to my school and I was already doing something else and they couldn't track down exactly where I was. So it was supposed to be maybe a 15-minute meeting, but it actually turned to be less than 10 minutes. So, but it was really great. Then he visited me at my, the place that I was staying at. We started doing sessions there. And he was just helping me get back home to, where I wanted to be. We've worked on coping skills, what do I do when I'm upset? What do I do when this happens? Talking about how I feel about this certain situations. And, helping me find a job if I need one. It's been really, really helpful. And I'm so glad that I'm in the program. Because it's just a life changer for me.
In addition to the work that Deshawn did personally, the whole family worked to improve communication and reduce conflict.
Helping us to be a family unit again was really helpful. I'm able to use some of the skills that I was taught with the program to kind of help out my situation at home.
I used to really struggle with bad influences, especially from my friends. They would make bad decisions, and I would just go along with it. But Youth Villages taught me how to be my own person. I know how to make very smart and mature decisions now. Deshawn. Now Deshawn is a junior in high school and thinking about his future. He is an aspiring magician and a first-class entertainer. Deshawn's school talent show was canceled due to COVID-19, so Nick and Deshawn came up with a plan to perform over Zoom for the Youth Villages staff. Here is one of our favorite tricks that he performed.
Okay, so Megan, I'm gonna have you take your mute off and tell me when to stop. Since I can't have you necessarily pick a card like this, I'm gonna have you just tell me when to stop.
Okay. Stop.
All right. See this card? It doesn't matter if I see this card, okay? Because of what I'm going to do next. So I'm going to take this card, I'm going to put it in the middle of the deck, okay? I'm going to take it out of the deck and fling it It's gonna be in my pocket in here. Now, I don't know if you can see it. Can you see that? It's a card folded up in there. Yeah. I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna put these cards here. I'm gonna take this card. I'm gonna unfold it. What do you know?
That's amazing! On the front lines, helping families during the COVID-19 pandemic.
Being a mental health provider during the time of COVID-19 has definitely been an interesting experience. The virus has been impacting millions of people all around the globe, but it's particularly been impacting those with mental health and financial struggles. I feel grateful that we're living in a time where we're able to find creative ways to stay in touch with our clients, and I'm happy that our programs are still able to offer support to everyone that needs it.
What I love most about working for Youth Villages is our mission. We work extremely hard to help the kids and families we serve, and the endless support that I receive every day from my coworkers is incredible. Especially now with this pandemic, to see everyone working together, staying positive, and supporting one another every day has been an amazing experience.
What I love best about working with Youth Villages is that we always find a way to support our families no matter what situations arise. We are solution-oriented, meaning that we always find a way to make things happen. We are in a unique period of time in our history, and it is so vital that our community knows that there is an organization dedicated to keeping a sense of normalcy. For me, being a mental health hero means that I am available and dedicated to helping our families thrive even though crisis may arise, and also to promote a sense of well-being during this scary time in history.
Introducing this year's honoree, Paul S. Grogan, President and CEO of the Boston Foundation.
Hi everyone, I'm Sandy Edgerly. I'm a member of the Youth Villages Board and Chair of the Boston Foundation's Board of Directors. It is my distinct honor tonight to introduce my friend and colleague Paul Grogan as we recognize him for his amazing accomplishments across Greater Boston and the Commonwealth. Paul and I stepped onto the Youth Villages Board as founding members and have witnessed the tremendous growth and impact that the organization has had on the lives of over 7,000 children, families, and young adults in Massachusetts. Paul has been a true champion for young people his entire career. Thank you so much, Paul, for everything you've done to serve our city, to serve our state, and to serve children who need opportunities. We're thrilled to recognize your involvement in Youth Villages tonight.
Sandy, thank you so much for those very kind remarks. I have to tell you, I'm really humbled by receiving this award tonight. I think there are many others who deserve it more. Nevertheless, to be associated with Youth Villages in such a fashion is really a delight. And recognizing, as we do at the Boston Foundation, the extraordinary quality of what they do and the very hard work they do with young people who've had a very tough time. And the way that Youth Villages turns those young people around, unlocks their potential, is a wonder to behold. So to make sure this program stays strong and expands ought to be an objective that we all share. Something notable about this program is that it came from somewhere else. You know, Boston has this wonderful reputation as a center of youth program innovation. City Year was born here, Citizen Schools, Bell, all great programs that have been expanded nationally. But here we've taken a program that started in Memphis and brought it to Boston, and it shows the wisdom of looking more broadly for ideas, I think, and that's another thing I congratulate Joanna Jacobson for doing. And the passion that we all share for this program is really unusual and notable. But I think we all believe that Youth Villages is not only a great program, but it contains enormous wisdom and insight that is often very counter to established practice in the welfare and juvenile justice system. So that's another contribution that Youth Villages is really making. And we are living through a very, very difficult period. But if you look at history, one of the upsides of this kind of disruption is it creates room for innovation. People are looking for things to do differently, for things to do better. And in that context, in the next few years, I think that Youth Villages also has a tremendous contribution to make in the lives that they have rescued, and just the tenacity and drive they bring to this work is just extraordinary. So it's very important that we get together and celebrate and affirm what Youth Villages has done. I do have to tell you, this is a little jarring to be at a Youth Villages event where there's no hugging or kissing allowed. It's really kind of stunning, but we have to soldier on. And soldiering on is what we must do here. And we know now beyond any doubt the benefits that Youth Villages can bring. So again, thank you so much for being here, for your ongoing support, and we value it very much. Have a good evening.
Welcoming back Matt Stone, featuring YV scholar and violinist Basil.
Hi again, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight. I hope you enjoyed hearing from our program participants, Alyssa and Deshawn. Thank you again to Paul Grogan, our honoree this evening. For our final segment, YV Good News, I'd like to invite an awesome young man, Basil Alter, to join me. Basil is one of our LifeSet scholars, and he just finished his first year at the Manhattan School of Music in New York. You'll see, Basil is already an accomplished violinist, and he's going to play some amazing music for you while I share the YV Good News. Basil?
Yes, thanks so much, Matt. I'm so happy to be here for the virtual spring celebration, and I hope you all are ready for some good news.
Thanks so much, Basil. It's so important to support our youth and families right now, and I'm so grateful you could be a part of this evening's program. Without question, we're all going through a trying time. But through all the anxiety, the confusion, and the isolation, young adults in our LifeSet program continue to make progress toward their goals. And I have lots of good news to share about them. So here goes just a few pieces of Youth Village's good news. In the past 2 months, 7 young adults in our LifeSet program have been accepted to college. They're excited to hopefully get into the classrooms in the fall to continue their education. 2 of our LifeSet participants will enter our YV Scholars program and live out their dreams of going to college too. In the past 2 months, 14 young adults in our LifeSet program got jobs. Just to name a few, Julia got a job editing online. Mackenzie's starting a job at a landscaping company. Wellington got a job at a Boys and Girls Club, and Melissa and Hannah are joining essential workers, starting jobs at local grocery stores. Kayla just graduated from Mass Art, and Giselle will be a freshman orientation leader at her college in the next semester. There's so much great stuff coming out of our LifeSet program, and these young adults are working harder than ever to achieve their dreams. You can help them do just that by making a gift at youthvillages.org/spring celebration. So thank you for joining us this evening. We hope you enjoyed yourselves, and thank you for being a force for families. Good night.
Thank you for joining us this evening and raising awareness for the young people and families served by Youth Villages. Give the gift of LifeSet to a young adult who is aging out of foster care by visiting youthvillages.org/spring celebration. Thank you to our very generous sponsors. We cannot do the work that we do without you. Thank you to our generous community partners who've taken action during this time to support our families and young people, staff, and organization. We are humbled by your dedication to making the world a better place. Thank you to our incredible host committee for making tonight possible. Thank you to our Massachusetts board for all you do year-round to better the lives of young people and families. Give the gift of LifeSet to a young adult who is struggling by visiting youthvillages.org/spring celebration. Thank you to our very generous sponsors. We cannot do the work that we do without you. Thank you to our generous community partners who've taken action during this time to support our families and young people, staff, and organization. We are humbled by your dedication to making the world a better place. Thank you to our incredible host committee for making tonight possible. Thank you to our Massachusetts board for all you do year-round to better the lives of young people and families. Give the gift of LifeSet to a young adult who is struggling by visiting youthvillages.org/spring celebration.